Spursy has become a recognized psychological phenomenon in football. The tendency to collapse when victory is within reach has haunted this club for generations. What dark secret lies behind Tottenham's repeated near misses? The Champions League final defeat in 2019 and surrendering the Premier League title race to Leicester represent pieces of a troubling pattern that continues to haunt the club. We're about to dissect why these failures aren't isolated incidents, but rather connected threads in the fabric of Tottenham's identity. The evidence points to something deeper than mere coincidence or bad luck, a systematic issue woven into the very DNA of the club. The psychology of failure inside the Spursy mentality. What if an entire football club could have a collective psychological disorder? The evidence suggests Tottenham might. There's something peculiar about Spurs that transcends individual players, managers, and even decades, a psychological fragility that manifests itself precisely when success appears within reach. This psychological fragility is starkly evident in their tendency to concede first at home. They've done so in 5 consecutive home matches, and an alarming 13 times overall at their stadium during the calendar year, just one shy of the Premier League record. Like a roller coaster that never reaches its summit, Tottenham constantly builds momentum, only to derail at crucial moments, entering matches with an unconscious expectation of adversity. Current manager Ange Postecoglou acknowledges this burden. "That's down to me. That's my responsibility," he admitted when discussing the team's inconsistency. "It's something I need to try and fix and see if I can help the players in that area." His words reflect an understanding that the issue fundamentally centers on mentality rather than tactics. Tottenham could lose to Ipswich, yet produce an unexpected victory against elite competition. This Jekyll and Hyde existence defines their modern era, visible in players' body language during high-stakes moments. Slumped shoulders after conceding, frustrated gestures when attacks break down, and visible tension as leads disappear, betraying a team that expects setbacks rather than overcomes them. Former Liverpool defender Steve Nicol highlights how individual quality fails in crucial moments, specifically targeting Richarlison. "You ain't winning anything if your centre forward is 1 in 4, particularly when your 2 wide guys are really not there to score goals." This creates a vicious cycle where pressure produces underperformance. Time only reinforces this framework. The longer Tottenham goes without winning a trophy, the more difficult breaking the cycle becomes. Most current players have never experienced lifting silverware with the club, creating a deficit of reference points for success. Without these positive experiences, anxiety and doubt fill the void. Richard Key's commentary suggesting Tottenham may never win another trophy since their last in 2008 further permeates the club's atmosphere, influencing players who inevitably absorb these narratives. Postecoglou's approach signals his understanding of this barrier. Rather than focusing solely on ending the trophy drought, he emphasizes building a team and a club that is competing for trophies every year, recognizing that one trophy won't exercise psychological demons if the underlying mentality remains unchanged. Money matters, financial constraints in a billionaire's playground. Systematic change requires resources, but what if those resources simply aren't available? Tottenham's financial approach represents the antithesis of their trophy-winning rivals: pragmatic, cautious, and ultimately insufficient. Their impressive stadium stands as both architectural triumph and competitive albatross, a billion-pound monument to misplaced priorities in football's modern economy. Unlike the oil-rich sheikhs of Manchester City or the bottomless pockets behind Chelsea and Newcastle, Tottenham has chosen the path of self-sufficiency. This organic growth model earns respect in boardrooms while translating to perpetual disadvantage on the pitch. Their competitors casually spend £100 million on single players, while Tottenham operates with the financial restraint of a mid-table club despite their top 4 aspirations. The stadium that was promised by Chairman Daniel Levy to elevate Tottenham to football's elite by injecting funds directly into first-team player purchases and wages has instead become a gilded cage, a gleaming architectural marvel that doubles as competitive quicksand, pulling the club deeper into financial constraints with each passing season. This £1 billion investment created an unmistakable ceiling on the club's ambitions, forcing them to operate at a severe disadvantage in the transfer market. This financial reality directly undermines Tottenham's ability to retain talent and maintain competitiveness, creating a perpetual cycle of near success followed by inevitable disappointment. From a business perspective, Tottenham's approach may be sustainable, but football is fundamentally a competition where resources determine outcomes. When Manchester City needs a defender, they simply purchase one. When Liverpool requires midfield reinforcement, they invest. Tottenham must instead shop in football's bargain bins or develop from within, strategies that consistently fall short against state-backed enterprises. The data is damning. Over the past decade, Tottenham's net spend has been dwarfed by their Big Six counterparts. Manchester United, Chelsea and City regularly post transfer windows exceeding £200 million, while Tottenham operates at a fraction of that amount. This financial gap manifests most painfully in Tottenham's wage structure. Their rigid salary cap repeatedly forces the departure of key talent seeking market value compensation. The January 2022 window illustrated this perfectly. As Arsenal and Manchester United strengthened with significant investments, Tottenham settled for loan deals and promises of future opportunity. Beyond failed signings lie the ghosts of transfers never materialized, players identified but unaffordable who later lifted trophies with rivals. The 2017 pursuit of João Cancelo provides a perfect example. Balking at Valencia's £25 million valuation, only to watch him become instrumental at Manchester City years later. The question becomes existential. Can a self-sustaining club compete in modern football's financial arms race? The evidence suggests not. Leicester City's 2016 miracle required perfect alignment of circumstances never replicated since. Tottenham's financial model has created a ceiling they cannot break through, too good for mid-table obscurity, but fundamentally ill-equipped for sustained elite competition. They've built a house with a view of the summit, but without stairs to reach it. Beyond that gilded prison of financial constraints lies an even more troubling problem: the architects who designed it. What happens when a club builds a £1 billion stadium but can't decide on a coherent footballing identity? Under Daniel Levy's 2-decade reign, Tottenham has cycled through managers with philosophies so contradictory they might as well be speaking different languages. Since 2001, Levy has presided over an era defined by impressive infrastructure, but devoid of silverware. The new stadium stands as a monument to ambition, while the boardroom operates without any clear vision beyond the balance sheet. Like an orchestra without a conductor, this leadership vacuum has created tactical chaos on the pitch, making sustainable success impossible. The managerial carousel tells the story. Pochettino's high-pressing, youth-focused system was abandoned for Mourinho's defensive pragmatism, followed by Nuno's cautious approach, Conte's rigid structure, and finally Postecoglou's attacking philosophy. Each manager essentially dismantled everything before them rather than building upon foundations. "I emphasize competing for trophies every year," Postecoglou stated, articulating a vision of sustainable success that directly contrasts with Tottenham's historical approach of chasing quick fixes. Successful clubs demonstrate patience and philosophical continuity. Manchester City didn't hire Tony Pulis after Guardiola had a bad month. Liverpool didn't replace Klopp's heavy metal football with Allardyce's defensive pragmatism after losing matches. This management disarray extends to recruitment strategy. Without experienced champions in the dressing room, the squad lacks both the leadership to teach winning habits and the elite talent required to compete at the highest level. The emphasis on young players creates technical proficiency, but leaves a mentality gap that repeatedly manifests in crucial moments. While rival clubs operate with clear long-term visions, Tottenham's strategy remains reactive. The disconnect between stated ambitions and actual investment creates a trust deficit with both managers and fans. How can any coach implement a long-term project when the average managerial tenure barely exceeds 2 seasons? Examining Levy's 22-year chairmanship reveals impressive business acumen paired with baffling sporting decisions. The club operates like a corporation first and a football institution second, creating an institutional culture where winning is desired but not demanded. The most telling evidence comes from Postecoglou's history. At every previous club, Melbourne Victory, Brisbane Roar, Yokohama F. Marinos and Celtic, he won trophies in his second season. "I always win things in my second year," he confidently stated. But Tottenham presents a unique challenge. An organisation where the obstacle isn't just financial constraints, but institutional instability. Can Postecoglou break this cycle? His track record suggests he might, but when 5 different managers with vastly different approaches all fail to deliver silverware, the problem clearly transcends any individual in the dugout. In a telling comment, Ange Postecoglou himself acknowledges the paradox at Spurs, emphasizing that winning a single trophy isn't enough. His vision extends to consistently competing rather than actually securing silverware. This mindset embodies the institutional approach, cementing Tottenham's trophy drought. The team's season reflects this paradox perfectly, caught between soaring highs and crushing lows. Can Spurs break free from this cycle of mediocrity? Without addressing the squad quality issues Stephen Nicol identifies and the lack of winning culture Nizar Kinsella describes, Tottenham remains trapped in a self-fulfilling prophecy, where competing consistently somehow replaces actual achievement.